Welcome to the Advancing Entrepreneur. This show is all about surrounding yourself for success. Hear stories of building traction, gaining acceleration, and creating results from successful entrepreneurs who have surrounded themselves with other successful entrepreneurs. And now, here's your host, Annette Nightingale James.
Hello, Advancing Entrepreneurs, and happy Friday. This is Annette Nightingale James of the Advancing Entrepreneur Show, where we help you get traction, acceleration, and results. Today, we are wrapping up one of our signature implementation series where we're talking about advancing your implementation, taking great ideas and putting them into practice in your business. This was all started off when we did an interview with my friend Willie Mayette on Monday, where he said the key is immediate implementation, taking ideas, great ideas that are going to work for you and putting them into your business, putting them into work in your business immediately. So all week we've been working on advancing your implementation. Part 1, we talked about the one thing. Part 2 was the sticky note solution. Part 3, that was yesterday, was daily rituals. Part 4, to implement or not to implement, which is what we are going to be talking about today. So what do you do when you've got tons of ideas, but you're just not executing, or you just don't have time to get to everything? If you took every single idea and put it into work in your business, you would be going more directions than you could handle. So today we're really going to dig in and dive down on what ideas you should be implementing and what ideas you should be putting off to later, and how to manage both of those extremes in your business. So the whole question is to implement or not to implement. That is the question. When you get a new idea in your business, how do you know if you should put it into action or if you need to shelve it for later? If you're like most entrepreneurs, you have about 2 or 3 ideas a day that you really are convinced could be helpful to moving your business forward, or another new idea that maybe you should be focusing on that instead of what you're doing now. Not to mention, you're probably suffering from that shiny object syndrome where you keep getting all these ideas and you're feeling distracted. I could do this. I could do that. I could do this. I could do that. Well, what should I do, right, in your business? Or, as I like to refer to it, you might have too many squirrels.
My master made me this collar. He is a good and smart master, and he made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel! My master is good at...
So how do you know what you should be focusing on? How do you know what ideas to implement immediately, as Willie would say, and what ideas to either let go or shelve for later? Well, I have a couple of questions that are going to help you figure out what ideas to put into place now and what ideas to shelve for later, and how to do that in a way that they're not lost forever. So remember when we were talking back in the first part of this implementation series about the domino effect. If you haven't listened to that episode, I really want you to go back and listen. It's a great concept about what can you do in your business today that is going to push over that next domino, which, by the way, is bigger and better than the domino you're working on now, that is going to lead to a domino effect or momentum in your business and moving it forward. So make sure that you're consistently looking at the one thing that you should be working on now and the domino effect, and make sure that the ideas that you have are in alignment with the domino effect, that you are not just starting something new every day to the detriment of getting anything done at all. So one thing that you can do is keep an idea journal. It is really hard for entrepreneurs not to want to take and cultivate every idea as it comes up. So by putting it into an idea journal, you can get it out of your head and get your mind off of it and back onto what you're working on. Sometimes just the act of getting it out of your head is enough for it to kind of be put to rest, and you won't really think about it that much. That may be all that you need to do to keep focused on what you're working on now. If an idea is just kind of so-so and you put it into an idea journal, you get it out of your head, sometimes it'll go away completely and you'll not think about it again. Probably a good indication that that wasn't your strongest idea to date anyway. But if that idea is persistent and you still can't get focused on what you were working on, or you're wondering if it's something you should really put into practice in your business, I have a few questions that you can ask yourself to see if this is something that you need to be working on now. Ask yourself if you can delegate it out. If this is something that's going to move your business forward and you can delegate it out and get it off your plate, then there's probably a pretty good reason to go ahead and get it into somebody else's hands and get it started so that you don't have to worry about it anymore, but you're still benefiting from the idea itself. Another question to ask you is, does this idea move me forward? Too many times as entrepreneurs, we have ideas that are not anything more than a distraction to the project or business that we're working on now. So the question is, does this move me forward, or is it just another rabbit trail that's going to take you all over? Note on the sign in the video, if you're watching the video, if you're catching this on audio, I have a sign that has these rabbit trails going all over, and underneath the sign it says, good luck, okay? That is what I'm going to wish you if you're going to chase down every new idea that comes into your head or that you hear at a conference, and you're going to try to chase those ideas as soon as you hear them. Good luck ever making any real progress. So if you've asked yourself these questions and you can't delegate it out, and maybe you're not sure if it's going to move you forward, or you think it's going to move you forward, but you're not really sure if it's something you should do right now, there's still some more questions that you can ask yourself. Ask yourself, why would I implement this now? Note the why in that question. Why would you implement it now? Is it going to significantly move you forward? Is it the right time and place? Do you have the right people? What about this idea makes you want to implement it now? On the other hand, you also have to ask yourself, why would I put this off? There may be real good reasons for you to put it off. You may be trying to stop yourself from being too distracted. That's a really good reason to take an idea, put it in the idea journal, and stop thinking about implementing it now. On the other hand, if you're not implementing something, if you're putting something off because you're unsure of it or you're flat out scared of it, that is not a good reason for procrastination. You have to balance the two. So making sure that it's good for your business is the first step. Then asking yourself, why are you going to do this now versus why would you put it off is another good step. Because, as Maria said, the fear to change is the enemy of success. If you're putting it off simply because of fear, that alone is not a good enough reason for you to put something off until later. Make sure that putting something in an idea journal and putting it off until later is not really just a way to dissect. Is not really just a disguise to procrastinate something that you should be working on in your business. If you decide that this is a great idea, but now is just not the time or place, or it's a distraction from the project that you're working on now, all you have to do is make an appointment in your calendar, put it in your phone, put it in your calendar, put it in your scheduling system, whatever, to take another look at it in 6 months or a year. This will ensure that the really great ideas aren't lost forever, but that you're also free to focus on the projects that are moving you forward. So that is our implementation series on advancing your implementation. We covered the one thing. We covered the sticky note solution. We covered the daily rituals and habits that move you forward. And we discovered to implement or not to implement. Make sure that you're heading over to iamadvancing.com. You're hitting up implement in that search bar so that you can get all the notes and the slides from this entire series. While you're there, make sure you hit that join the community button so that we can get you joined into our Facebook community of advancing entrepreneurs and get you surrounded for success. I cannot wait to talk to you next week. Have a great Friday and a happy weekend. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Advancing Entrepreneur. If you enjoyed it, leave us a rating and review. Not only will it make our day, you'll also be helping others find this show and advance their own careers. Once you're done, be sure to head on over to iamadvancing.com and join our community to learn what it takes to be an advancing entrepreneur and surround yourself for success. Thanks again, and get ready to advance.